to the channel. If you haven't been here before, hello, my name's Nick. Welcome to the e-Business Boss channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can start selling on the Amazon US marketplace from another country. Now, I feel fairly qualified to talk to you about this because, well, I've been a full-time Amazon seller for over 3 years now, and I've done exactly this. I've set up an Amazon business in the US from the country I live in, which is outside the US, in the UK to be specific. But I'm pretty sure these steps will help you understand the process from whatever country you live in. If you want to sell in the Amazon US marketplace, this is the video for you. So, guys, let's jump into the video, and if you've got any questions throughout this video, just leave a comment below and I'll see if I can help you out. So, what are we going to cover today? Well, I'm going to give you clear action steps. So basically by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do and how to do it. Bear in mind, this is based on my own experience. So I have to say, this isn't legal or financial advice. I can't give you that. All I can do is just relay my personal experience. These steps will include, number one, checking which countries are accepted for seller registration with Amazon. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to give you some useful resources so that you can check if the country you're in is okay and accepted by Amazon for seller registration. Next, I'm going to tell you what Amazon wanted from us when we set up a US Amazon store. I'm going to then talk to you about everything you need to know about setting up your business. I'm going to talk to you about setting up a bank account, how we do it. I'm going to talk to you about Amazon's conversion rates and how there is something you can do from the start to save yourselves a lot of money and ensure that a lot more of the profit stays in your pocket. And I can guarantee that if you do what I've done. So next I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually ship products to Amazon. So in the US, if you don't live there, how are you going to have your products made and then shipped into Amazon? So you can do all of that without being in the country, no problem at all. Amazon make it easy for you. So lastly, I'll talk about taxes. So please remember, it's not legal advice. I can't give you legal advice. I'm not qualified. All I can do is relay on my personal experience. So countries accepted by Amazon for seller registration. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. On the screen now, you'll see a load of the countries that are accepted by Amazon for seller registration. There are way too many for me to sit here and go through one by one. It would be a very boring video, so I'm not going to do that. Check the link in the description, and yeah, those are the countries currently accepted by Amazon, and there's a lot of them. So what Amazon actually asked for when we were setting up in the US. So number one, they asked for bank account details. Now, you need to be clever about how you set this up, and I'll show you exactly what we did, and it's worked really well for us. They also asked for a chargeable credit card. Now, in the UK, we have debit cards, and we gave them that, and that worked really well for us. It was our company debit card, obviously. They want an email address. Now, that email address needs to not be associated with any other Amazon accounts. So if you've already got an Amazon account elsewhere and you're setting up in the US, or you're just starting out, just make sure it's a brand new email address that isn't associated with any other accounts. Next, you'll need a telephone number. So if you want a US-based number, you could use a service like Skype to generate you a number that is almost based digitally in the US. Next, you'll have to complete a tax form. We certainly did. We did a W8 BENE form. That's because we work in the UK, we live in the UK. And these forms will confirm your tax status. So that will depend on which country you're based in. But yeah, that was the form we had to complete. So you have to do that. We also needed to obtain a US EIN number, which stands for Employer Identification Number. So the IRS use these basically to identify who you are and what taxes you'll be subject to. So once you've got those and Amazon verify all of your personal information, you should be ready to go. Next up, let's talk about actually setting up your business. So one of the big questions I get asked a lot is, if you want to sell in the Amazon US marketplace, don't you need to have a company based in the US? The simple answer to that question is no, you don't. Although, again, I can't give you tax or legal advice on this, I can just tell you that we started our US Amazon seller account from a UK-based company. Whether you live in somewhere across Europe, wherever you're based, as long as Amazon accept you as a country where they can register you as a seller, it should be okay. It will depend on you, but that's how it worked for us. So the UK currently benefits from a tax treaty between the US, as do many other countries. So yeah, it's going to be different for all of you, but get advice from an accountant and a tax specialist maybe they can do the same thing before you go ahead. So if you have an existing business, there's a good chance you can just use that to set up your Amazon US store. Setting up your bank account. This is something I didn't realize when we first sort of started selling on Amazon, but it's a game changer. And by doing what I'm going to tell you to do, you'll be able to save a lot of money and be able to keep a lot more of the profit in your pocket. It's exciting. So if your country is accepted by Amazon, the easiest thing you can do is set up a bank account in your native country. So that could well work for you. It's up to you. We didn't do that. We did things slightly differently by using a specific Payoneer service, and I'll leave a link to that service in the description below. We were able to set up a local bank account in the US, so a dollar account, obviously. This had a load of benefits. So it meant that we could receive our sales in US dollars. That's massive. It meant that we could put aside taxes, and we could benefit from a much better exchange rate. So I'll explain why those things are important shortly. We use the Payoneer bank account. There's so many benefits. The main point of it means that, if you're selling in the US and your sales are there and then you want Amazon to convert them for you into your currency, then you're going to have to use Amazon's conversion rate, which I can tell you is pretty high compared to the one we use. You can benefit from the special offer in the description. So at the time of recording, that description is live. I don't know how long we'll be running that for, but yeah, please remember, if you do use that link, it is an affiliate link and we'll make a commission if you decide to use Payoneer. It's how we monetize our blog and our YouTube channel, but it's only fair that I'm completely upfront with you guys about that. Let's talk about Amazon's conversion rates. Now, I can't say this for definite because I'm sure this changes all the time, but I can just tell you, I think, again, don't hold me to this, we were charged around 3.75% of any sales we made outside of the UK. So sales would go through this exchange rate before hitting our deposit account in our currency. So 3.75% is very expensive, and it doesn't have to be this expensive. So if you look over the course of a year, that's really going to add up. And we found when we made this change, we actually had much more money coming into our deposit account each month just because of the better conversion rate. So with the new banking system I use, I get a much lower conversion rate. So that's the simple answer, really. You can benefit, if you're willing to set it up, from a much better exchange rate. And if you're wanting to do big volumes, you're going to need a bank account anyway, so why not? Just keep more of it. There are a few other reasons why you'd probably be smart to make this decision. So if you decide to go with Amazon exchange rates, let's just assume you're going to be paying 3% more than you would elsewhere. This figure is just an example for you. I can tell you it's a lot cheaper. I can't tell you exactly what you'll be able to get it for. But number one, if you're just going with Amazon, you're going to be getting US dollars converted into your currency at an expensive exchange rate. Compared to others, there's no doubt about that. You might prefer to do that. You might feel safer keeping it with Amazon. That's up to you. Number two, the chances are you will probably need to pay your supplier in US dollars as well. So if you don't have a US dollar account, you're going to be receiving those dollars, paying an exchange rate to your currency, and then paying an exchange rate again to send it back out to your supplier. So why would you do that? It's very inefficient. Don't do that. Number three, you're going to need to pay taxes in US dollars. So again, you're going to be paying exchange rates. Why not have a central US-based dollar account where you can hold the money, pay what you need to pay, take your profit at a better exchange rate? Makes sense. I really hope you guys find that point valuable because it has made us a lot more profit. It really has, and it's a much more efficient way to do things. So the next thing you need to know, if you want to sell in the Amazon US, how are you going to get your products there? Well, let's go with the example of, let's say you're having your products made in China. You want them sent to the US Amazon FBA fulfillment centers for them to store your products and send them out on your behalf. But you don't live there. Well, as you wouldn't in your own country, you're not going to deliver the products into Amazon yourself in the back of your car. That would be very weird, and they wouldn't let you in anyway. So this would be the process to follow. This is a rough guide, but this is how it works for us. So number one, your supplier manufactures your products as they would. So let's say that's in China. Next, I would recommend you arrange a quality inspection. So there's loads of inspection companies out there. Find one that you can trust, and it should cost you between $100 and $200. Someone physically should go out to the factory, check the factory first, make sure they're working to the standards that they have told you that they are, and check the quality of your goods. Are the goods the right quality? Are they what you expect? Are they ready to be sent into Amazon FBA? By doing this step, you are going to cut out a lot of the risk of your products not being up to scratch, getting sent into Amazon, you selling them, customers hating them, your overall review rating just diving, and it's just a big failure. So it's an important step. So number 3, once quality control is done, you can arrange shipping. So from China to the US through a freight forwarder. Unless you're a freight forwarder yourself and you have a load of expertise or a team to do this, that's what you want to do. Ask for a complete quote to include tax and duties, so that when your goods go into the US, you're well aware that you'll be paying all the right custom duty and you know what that's going to cost. Because if you don't ask for it to be included, you might get a nasty surprise, and you need to ensure you're paying all of your tax and duties that the US expect, because otherwise, well, you're not going to be building a long-term business. You're going to be building one that is very, very vulnerable. We don't want that for you. So you can ship your products from the factory directly into Amazon's US FBA warehouse network. Pretty simple. You have a freight forwarder organize it, set up the shipment in your Amazon Seller Central account, and it's very easy. If you find a good freight forwarder, they are worth their weight in gold. And that really is the process in a very simple overview. In order to do the same, you just replenish using the above method again and again and again. Pretty simple. Now, tax. Like I've said, and I keep saying it, I cannot give you tax advice. I just can't. I'm not qualified to do it. So don't take any of this as advice. Speak to a professional, because I don't know enough about it, in all honesty, and I wouldn't want to, give you any wrong information. That wouldn't be useful. So there's 2 main types of tax you're going to have to think about, or we had to think about. So income tax. Now, usually you'll be taxed on your worldwide income. So it depends on your country's taxation system, but wherever you live, you'll pay income tax to that government, that institution, that organisation, because that's how income tax works. There are exceptions to this. If you really are a resident of Panama, you might not have to pay income tax, but that's a different subject. For us, we pay our income tax in the UK as we live here. So check that out for you. Speak to an accountant. Find out what tax you're going to have to pay and to where. But there's a good chance, if you live in a country like us, that you won't have to pay income tax in the US unless you've got a physical presence there. Number 2, and this is something you're going to have to pay to the US, and it's sales tax. So this is quite complicated. A lot of people say the US tax system is wildly inefficient because there's so many different states. I'm not surprised, with different rules, different tax rules, etc., etc. You're going to be liable for these taxes just as US-based sellers are. So because this is so complicated, and selling on Amazon, well, you really are selling across the world, I use software called TaxJar to organise my sales data and create tax-ready reports for every single state I sell in. So each state has something called a tax nexus and different limits, different rules, different requirements. Use a piece of software, speak to a professional tax advisor, make sure you understand your liabilities before you jump in. There's no use building a huge Amazon business, selling loads and loads of products, and then realising that you've got a huge tax bill you can't afford to pay because, well, you're not going to have a business anymore. And I don't want that for you. So I look after you guys, I know. Now, if you've got any questions, please ask away below. I will do my best to help you out. I hope you found this video useful. The US marketplace is the biggest, without a doubt. It's a huge opportunity, but get things set up correctly from the start and take note of the bank account, suggestion that I put in here, because you can save a lot of money on conversion rates if you don't live in the country. So if you've enjoyed this video, please, for me, would you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? And why not share it with a friend if you really think it's good? If you don't like it, also let me know. Open to all feedback, always, and we just want to improve and put out better content for you guys. There'll be more useful content coming from us here at eBusiness Boss very soon. Thanks for watching.